throw this in your light.
Good evening and welcome to the Fort Clinton City Council regular meeting of April 23rd, 2019. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, the Lord's Prayer, and taking a moment of silence for our military, veterans, and first responders. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our God, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Dave Buelow.
Excused.
Bill Friedman.
Present.
Beth Gilman.
Present.
Roseanne Hickman.
Excused.
Brian Hill.
Here.
Margaret Phillips.
Present.
Lisa Sardi.
Present.
Council, you received no minutes this evening. The chair notes that certification has been received regarding the compliance with the rules and notification of this meeting. This evening we have with us Senator Teresa Gabbard.
Thanks so much for allowing me to come tonight. I just wanted to take an opportunity to put a face with a name, introduce myself, and make sure you know how to reach out to me if you have any questions. Just give you a little legislative update on some of the things I'm working on. Just by way of background, I've been married for 26 years. I live in Bowling Green, Ohio. Went to law school at University of Toledo, got my business degree from Bowling Green, then law school at University of Toledo. Been an attorney since 1994, and had 3 kids who went through Bowling Green City Schools, and they're all in college this year. And they served on Bowling Green City Council for a few years before serving in the Ohio House, and I've been in the Ohio Senate since February 6th. I took Randy Gardner's seat when he went on to become the Chancellor of Higher Education. So my district is all of Ottawa County, all of Erie County, all of Wood County, part of Lucas County, and part of Fulton County. So it's a big district, and I've been working real hard since February 6th, getting out throughout the whole Senate district and getting to know people in the community and our elected officials as well. So wanted to just take an opportunity to come out and let you know who I am and that I'm here to work for you, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Some of the bills that I'm working on right now, I've got Senate Bill 52, which is a cybersecurity bill that I've been working with Secretary of State Frank LaRose on, that will create a cyber security reserve team that's housed under the Adjutant General's office. And basically it's volunteers who will be background checked, and they will be trained, and in the event of a cyber emergency, if there's a business, local government, anyone who's under some kind of cyber attack, the governor can call an emergency and deploy the cyber reserve team. So, time really matters under those circumstances, and we need to make sure that we're ready to act in the event. It's a proactive way to make sure that we're prepared in the event of an emergency, and also that provides for audits of our elections, and even and odd number years for general elections, and also in even number of years for primary elections. Okay, and it could be issues, but there'd be 3 for each election cycle. Ohio is a really important state, and we need to make sure that everyone knows that their vote counts and that we're doing things right here in Ohio. So, it's the integrity of our election system, so it's really important. So that bill has already passed through the Senate unanimously, and it's in the House right now, and we're hoping that gets through and signed into law here real soon. But we don't have any opponents, and that's looking good. I also have a bill that just passed out of the Senate committee. It's Senate Bill 55, and that basically elevates the level of offense for people caught trafficking drugs in the vicinity of a rehab clinic. we're putting a lot of money and effort towards this drug addiction crisis that we're under right now. And we want to help set people up for success. Sometimes people are ordered into rehab by the judge, and sometimes they make that decision to go voluntarily. And people are vulnerable. They've been clean for a little while, and these drug traffickers are sitting outside just giving them drugs to get them hooked again. There's a recent case in Wood County where someone actually joined Narcotics Anonymous so they could get in, and they're connecting people to drug dealers while they're in there. So we want to crack down on these people, put them away a little longer. It's a real crisis, and drug addiction and mental health services have been one of my main drivers from day one in the House. Just based on what I'd seen in my law practice over many years. So it's I've been working on a lot of issues in that regard. Also have a bill that just was introduced this week that it looks at school bus safety. We've had some issues in my larger Senate district over in Archbold, Ohio. Somebody may have seen a truck plow into a school bus. Yeah, and we also had another accident in Eastwood School District. And actually in Sylvania, just outside of Toledo, in 2010, a girl was killed while she was getting on or getting off a school bus, was hit. A car was going around her in a hurry. So this increases the fine, and for successive offenses increases the fine and the length of driver's license suspension. Also creates awareness. We want to make sure people remember what the rules are regarding school bus. So August would be designated School Bus Safety Awareness Month, and we'd like to do a public service announcement campaign, remind people what the laws are, and let them know that there are consequences to violating those laws. What's more important than the safety of our children? All three of my kids went to school, rode the school bus, and you put them on the bus, and you think that they're going to be safe on their way to school. You don't think about it. But as I've talked to people throughout the community, before I introduced this legislation, while I was still working on it, I talked to law enforcement, I talked to school superintendents, school bus drivers, parents, police chiefs, sheriffs, and I was surprised at what I was hearing. I mean, some of these school bus drivers, it's a daily occurrence where someone blows by the school bus. So this increases the fine on that first offense from $500 to $1,000. We want to send a really stern message to people. And it also creates a pilot program. $500,000 will go into it, so schools could apply to be a part of this pilot program to get cameras on the school buses, so we can identify people who are violating the law. I don't know if people just aren't paying attention, or if they're in too big of a hurry, or if they're looking at their phones. Right, and don't realize, hey, kids are getting on and off this school bus. So we want to alert people. You need to pay attention. These are our kids. So those are just three little pieces of legislation that I'm working on right now, and we're hoping to get them across the finish line soon. But it's been really exciting, working in the State House, working in the House, and now in the Senate. And I'm looking forward to working with you. I want to make sure you reach out to me if you have questions or concerns or issues, and I'm really happy to be here. But another important thing that I have here tonight, I have a letter from the Ohio Senate to congratulate our new mayor, Michael Snyder. And I'd like to thank you. Get a picture here.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations.
Look forward to speaking with you.
Absolutely. And does anyone have any questions for me while I'm here? Yes.
Very definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
First question is DeRolf. Way back around 2000, school funding. Young kid was in the 6th grade, for those of you who don't remember. Went to court. By the time it made it all its way through court and everything that it needed to do to try to fix it so school funding was more equalized. Kid had graduated college, grad school, and was out working, had a full family. Are they ever going to get around to taking care of school funding at the state level? Because it's just not right. Port Clinton is considered to be fairly rich when they determine the ADN. However, we have half our students who are on free and reduced lunch. I just find it wrong that we are penalized for some people having money and the rest of us just average.
Are you familiar with the Cupp-Patterson model the study that's been done over the past, boy, it's been months. Bob Cupp and Representative Patterson, both representatives, actually got people at the ground level. We have school superintendents and school treasurers and people in the field who did a study, and I don't remember how many months that was going on. I know probably over a year. And they presented a Cupp, it's known pretty commonly as the Cupp-Patterson model that's being explored right now, and also Governor DeWine has proposed a model in the operating budget. And both are being explored right now in the House as part of the operating budget. But it's something that I really like the Cupp-Patterson, the model, the way it worked, because it brought people at the ground level. I know at Penta, at the time I was a representative, my district in the House was all of Wood County. So Tom Hosler is the superintendent at Perrysburg City Schools, and the treasurer at Penta Vocational School. Both of those are career tech. I know they were a part of this study. They broke out into subcommittees and did an in-depth work as to what they thought would be a good method for school funding. So I know that's out there right now, and also the governor's proposed budget. So it is being looked at right now, and there was a task force that really has worked hard on this issue. But it's something that certainly is being explored in Columbus to make sure that our kids are getting what they need, and our schools are in the best position to prepare our kids for the next step, whatever that step may be, whether it's the workforce or college. We need to make sure our kids are getting the education. So it is something that's being examined right now in the budget, in the operating budget process, which is currently in the House. When it's finished in the House, it'll come over to the Senate, and we'll have a chance to look at it over there. So I'm not sure exactly where it stands, if it's going to be some kind of combination of the governor's and the Cupp-Patterson model, or if it's going to be one or the other. I'm not sure of that process. I'm not a part of that right now while it's in the House. But it's certainly something that people are working on.
Been working on it since DeRolf.
Well, this task force just completed their study, actually quite recently. So hopefully there'll be some changes, but I don't know what those will be just yet. But it's been worked on by people in the field as part of this study.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions from the Senator? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You all have my business card, and never hesitate to reach out and call. I'd be happy to come out here and meet with you personally, or have a phone conversation anytime. I look forward to working with you, and as this goes through the process, Councilwoman Phillips, please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions or would like to discuss things further. I'd be happy to sit down and have a conversation with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks again for allowing me to take some time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll now move to public comment.
Victoria Clemens for Clinton, Ohio.
Sure. Thank you so much. Hey,
Excuse me if I'm nervous. I don't like public speaking at all. Did anyone hear about New Albany, Ohio? Really small town. Facebook decided to put a 1 million square foot data center in New Albany, Ohio. Fantastic, right? But they're going to buy their electricity from a wind farm in Indiana. I just flabbergasted by that. So onto my statement. That wasn't a mistake. First Energy is in bankruptcy court. Ohio should not bail out a bankrupt company. Not by increasing electric rates, not by manipulating the regulatory or regional transmission rulings, and not by calling nuclear another name, such as a zero-emission facility. First Energy is deferring maintenance, repairs, and upgrades to its nuclear facilities. It's a longer time between inspections. Emergency plans are not updated. Flooding and other recommendations that were learned in Fukushima have not been implemented. They're not meeting their obligation to fully fund the decommissioning at Davis, Bessie, and Perry. It's just all too burdensome for the industry. And keeping a nuclear plant up and running because it doesn't have the money to close it down and clean it up is not a business plan. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, and the Federal Bankruptcy Court's trustee all caught First Energy in the act of trying to weasel out of their responsibility for the decommissioning costs and cleanup at their plants. And that just happened 2 weeks ago. What should the Ohio legislature do? They can create jobs by advancing renewables. There are now more jobs in solar and wind than in nuclear or coal. Jobs in solar energy are growing all across Ohio. Wind was booming until 2014, when the Ohio legislature gave the harshest setback regulations in the nation. The Ohio legislature could help communities, not utilities. Unemployed workers, vacant homes, decreased tax revenue, business closures, all constitute a vicious circle. It is counterproductive to give millions to a utility that has failed to modernize, failed to compete, and cannot afford to make critical safety upgrades. They're currently trying to get out of upgrades right now. So much more could be done with the money if it went directly to the communities. Electric rate increases double the unfairness because they hurt poor families the most. Ohio could and should support reactor communities. Nuclear jobs can be retained if you act now. There's actually a shortage of decommissioning people that know how to decommission. Why can't we become experts at it? It is cost-effective and more efficient and decreases safety risks if decommissioning begins as soon as a nuclear plant closes. The workers at Davis, Bessie, and Perry are experts on working of their plants. The smartest thing to do would be to rehire these experienced workers to begin decommissioning. But First Energy doesn't even want to do that. They want to go into safe store, which means they're going to postpone decommissioning for 60 years while it sits vacant and it continues to deteriorate. What should Port Clinton resolve? Resolve that you request the state legislature to bail out reactor communities, request financial statements from First Energy, because they're currently trying to make them secret, and ask for an accounting of the decommissioning funds. They don't have enough money. Demand implementation of a Citizens Advisory Board to oversee the decommissioning. And I could go point for point, but I did email you all with links so you can go directly to some facts.
Thank you. We'll now move to the reports for the evening. Start with the mayor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. First report. There you go. It's been an exciting 14 days, almost 14 days and 3 minutes for me. Just to fill you in on a few things that have going on the past time. Right after I was sworn in, that next morning, I had a first official meeting, sip and chat, over at the Bistro 163. That was very well attended. I also sat down with the Arts Council. Many of you have heard me talk about my recent trip overseas and the role that art played in the towns and cities and villages that I visited. Met with the Arts Council. We shared ideas, some long-term plans that they have. I listened to them, and we're working on some of those. But I feel that art can be a very good tool in the community to raise spirits, brings light, color, energy, effort, economic development. One of the things that I'd like to announce this evening, under the direction of the Arts Council, the office right across the hall is designated for the mayor, and although I hold that spot right now, it's not my office. I know it's been customary for the mayor to put their own personal trinkets and baubles in that room. I want to go a little different route, and I've asked the Arts Council to put out a call for artists and call for photographers, and we're going to have a little photo competition. The Arts Council is going to be the judge of that. They're going to come out with the rules for that competition in early May, and I'll be sure to share those with everyone. And the goal is to get pictures of the community. I'll pay to get them blown up, hang them in my office, and any extra pictures hopefully we'll be able to hang in the walls or in this chamber as well, with permission of the folks involved there, to bring some light, energy, and effort into this facility as well. Moving on to some of the mayoral appointees. Tree Commission is established. I've asked them to explore the possibility of a foster tree program. You know, one of the issues in Port Clinton is there's a lot of old trees throughout the community, and taking them down is one expense, and then the cost of acquiring the trees of an adequate size is another. If we can get community members to foster a tree for a couple of years in their backyard or in their garage in a large pot, perhaps that will reduce the cost of that. Along with the Tree Commission, other activities later today or later this week is Arbor Day. This Friday, there'll be an Arbor Day celebration over at the Port Clinton Fire Station. Starts at 5 p.m. and the community is, of course, welcome for that. Another mayoral appointee that we're working on, you may have heard through an email, the zoning maintenance sidewalk inspector resigned shortly after I took office. That position is currently being advertised, and we hope to have a qualified candidate very, very shortly. I had an opportunity to attend the Chamber and Main Street annual banquet, and I know there were several members of council there as well, but just some highlights. The Main Street awarded a couple of different awards. The Business of the Year, Ohio Telecom in downtown Port Clinton, and the Person or People of the Year happened to be here this evening. It's the Jerry and Larry Show. They received the Citizens of the Year, so congratulations, gentlemen. From the Chamber of Commerce side, the Business Member of the Year was Erie Shoreline Properties out on Portage Township on 53, a variety of businesses out there. And the new business was Lakeland Designs here in Port Clinton. Last night, I met with the members of the Port Clinton School Board and had a great conversation in their school board meeting. A lot of great information was exchanged, a lot of topics discussed. It became very evident to me after logging onto the internet for the very first time that, pardon my French, our internet service sucks. Not the service, the email service is horrible. So I've spoken to a local contractor who currently provides that to give us some options to upgrade our internet and our email capabilities. It was described to me as the first generation of internet, and it's the same system that was here 16, 17, 18 years ago. So hopefully I'll be getting with council, and hopefully we can create an exploratory committee to look at our options there. Again, some announcements that have come to light in the past couple of days. The Rock the Light Music Festival is again set for September 6th and 7th. That's the weekend after Labor Day at Waterworks Park. 2 days, 8 bands, including Jefferson Starship. And last night they announced that Here Come the Mummies will be returning again for a Friday night show. That was a great event. If you need tickets, rockthelightpc.com. And again, that's an event that's put on by Main Street Port Clinton, with all the proceeds from that event going back to support the Main Street activities. Sticking with that Main Street theme, this coming Wednesday night, tomorrow night, is a progressive dinner through the streets of downtown. Tickets are still available through the Main Street Chamber office, and I believe they are $30, 7 or 8 stops. They did this once before in the fall, huge success. So hopefully we'll be able to see everybody out there with that. This is kind of a humorous one. Bear with me. There are many great aspects about being mayor, and I'm learning what those are and meeting some wonderful people. But I'll be very honest with you, there has been one thing that I have been dreaded severely since this happened 2 weeks ago, and that's fishing with the mayor. I get violently seasick. So the new official title is Fishing with the Mayor's Father. And that will take place on Wednesday, May 22nd with the Sassy Sal. Contact the Sal to make arrangements, or contact? We'll get back with you on that one. And it may also be fishing with the mayor's dad and the safety service director, but we'll get you information on that. Council members, in front of you, you'll see some flyer on pancakes for pyrotechnics. The 4th of July Celebration Committee is still a couple $1,000s shy of the goal. I need to sign my name on a contract May 1st for fireworks, and we don't have that money. So hopefully, by raising some extra capital on Wednesday, May 8th at A La Carte Cafe, it's a free will offering, pancake dinner, pancake sausage and bacon that runs from 4:30 to 7. We'll get where we need to be for the fireworks. They will happen if I have to write a check myself, but come on in and eat pancakes and drop some money in a bucket, please. And then finally, this evening, I would like to congratulate the administrative assistant for the city of Port Clinton, Sandy Ostheimer. Tomorrow evening, she will graduate from Leadership Ottawa County, which is a great organization that was started by someone we all know and love and miss dearly in our community. I hadn't had an opportunity to participate in that, but their reach has been long and very good for our community, and will continue to be for generations to come. With that, Madam President, I'm done.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
We'll move to the auditor's report.
See, my report's going to be very boring from now on. Nothing's nice.
Thank you, Mr. Hatfield. The treasurer's report.
Madam President, bed tax to date, $9,383.26. Thank you.
Thank you. The law director is not with us this evening. The safety service director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Just have a couple things. First, Chief Hickman asked that I share that on May 1st at 7 a.m. the traffic light will come back on for the season at the beach crossing. We had made our presentation. I believe council's aware that we've been working on the Safe Routes to School project with our partners from the Port Clinton City School District, as well as the county commissioners. Redid the travel plan for the schools, and have applied for a Safe Routes to School grant to address the lack of sidewalks from McKinley to Port Clinton Point on 53. We did a 10-minute presentation, and we anticipate having an answer back on our application within the next 2 weeks on that. I'm certain everyone has noticed that with these nor'easters have brought some water to the city streets, especially Madison and Jefferson and the Pier. I want to thank our local businesses that I know it's frustrating for them, but it's Mother Nature, and we do what we can do. I'm certain that many people have seen the beach erosion that's taking place. It's just gotten worse this season and this winter. Folks have asked about what's going on with the staked out area there. We have some power infrastructure that's there that we're dealing with, and we're currently talking with ODNR coastal folks and the Corps of Engineers about how we can address what's turning into be really destroying the beach, or at least a portion of the beach directly across from Lakeview Park. So we're dealing with that. The mayor mentioned the zoning inspector's position. That position is being advertised currently on the Ohio Municipal League website. For anybody that's interested, really can contact the City Hall for an application. That's all I have this evening, Madam President.
Thank you. Police chief and the fire chief are not with us this evening. We'll move to correspondence. Council, you received the March 2019 month-end reports from the auditor. You also received the Emergency Services Committee meeting minutes dated April 16, 2019, as well as the Laws, Rules, and Ordinances meeting minutes dated March 26, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve the correspondence as stated?
So moved.
Mrs. Sardi?
I will second.
Second from Ms. Phillips. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Correspondence stands approved as stated. We'll move to the readings of ordinances and resolutions. This evening, we have no third readings, and we also have no second readings. We'll move to the new readings. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, Resolution 19-2.
Resolution 19-2, resolution to support nuclear energy in Ohio.
Does council wish to take any action on Resolution 19-2? Seeing none, Resolution 19-2 will be moved to its second reading at our next regular meeting on May 14th, 2019. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only, Resolution 19-3?
Resolution 19-3, resolution to appropriate funds for the purpose of decoration of graves, conducting memorial services, and otherwise engaging in activities appropriate for the celebration of Memorial Day 2019.
Does council wish to take any action on Resolution 19-3? Seeing none, Resolution 19-3 will be moved to its second reading at our next regular meeting on May 14th, 2019. We'll now move to business from the floor. We'll start with Mrs. Sardi.
Thank you, Madam President. The next infrastructure meeting will be May 7th at 6:30 here at City Hall. The next Parks and Rec meeting will be May 14th at 6:30 here at City Hall. At that meeting, we'll be discussing the NatureWorks grant. It's a grant we're looking at applying for that will do work on the City Hall Park. Last year, the Red Horse cleared out a bunch of stuff and hauled some dirt and stuff around, so that's our plan is to work on that. All are invited to the public meeting. And then I'm glad that Mayor Snyder's here because he does a lot of the public events. I guess we'll have to get together what we're going to announce because you took my Arbor Day thing.
Sorry.
So, congratulations to Mr. Holman, Mr. Trolley, on your award. You deserve it. Thank you for all you do and all the help that you do. Their beach park cleanup is this Saturday, and it's from 9 to 3. If anyone's available to help, you can meet Mr. Colson at Lakeview Park by the concession stand. Also, the citywide cleanup for the dumpsters will be on high ground from 9 to 3. Council, remember that you have to file your Ethics Commission financial statements and to do a public records sunshine law training during your term. There was a very nice turnout for the Easter egg hunt. Thank you to all that donated, and Ms. Clementoff and Mrs. Großheimer, if you could let them know, appreciate everything they did. It was very, very nice. Thank you. That'll be all.
Thank you. Mr. Friedman.
Nothing for me tonight, Council.
Thank you. Ms. Phillips.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, Arbor Day, I was going to say it as well. It's 5 o'clock on Friday, and they're always nice. I always go. Yes, it rains, who cares? It's just really nice to see it. And thank you to the mayor for actually letting us know what you do, because that's been sorely missing. Appreciate the fact that you, and I have been at most of the things that you mentioned, but that's all right. It's good to see you working there with us. And Mr. Hatfield, I think your reports are nice. Not a whole lot you can say about them, but I think they're nice.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, that's all, Madam President.
Thank you. Mrs. Gilman.
I'd like to ask the mayor's report go after council report.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Mayor Snyder. That was a wonderful report for all the Main Street Brooklyn updates because that's important to hear what they're doing in the community. I had a chance after the emergency services meeting last week to go to the fire station and see the stroke truck. They brought that in to show it to everybody there, and I stopped by and eavesdropped a little bit and what that does for life-saving techniques, because time is of such an essence when a stroke happens. And how our fire department and now our EMS department reaches out to other organizations and how they're up to date on all the technology is just so important for everybody that lives in this area. It was wonderful to hear and see the technology. And I hear that truck costs about $1 million and that we are not asking for one. It's a resource we have access to. The next Laws, Rules, and Ordinances meeting is May 28th at 6:30 p.m. here at City Hall. And that's it. Nothing else, Madam President.
Thank you. Mr. Hill.
Nothing for me, thank you.
Seeing no further business,
Madam President, I move this August body adjourn.
I will second.
second from Mrs. Sardi, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.